What's up, everybody? I hope everyone's having a great day. I know I am, and that's because I've officially reached 100 subscribers. Thanks so much to everyone who subscribed and stuck with me on this journey so far. It means so much to me. So, instead of a devlog update, I figured I would do something a little different for you all as sort of a celebration. I wanted to take a look back through my game making journey and show you guys some of my old simulations. So, let's get into it. First up is probably one of my favorite simulations I've made, and it's also my first one. This is a natural selection simulator, which is a common theme throughout all of my simulators. I was very fascinated by the idea of creatures evolving on their own with a computer program. Artificial life is something I really enjoy, and I'd love to make more advanced ones in the future. So I created this one with my brother, and we spent a solid week or two grinding it out. At the time, I didn't know much about coding, except what I had watched in tutorials, so most of the development was just me driving my brother crazy with constant questions and needing help. In this simulation, the organisms only have to eat one plant in order to reproduce, and the offspring will have a chance to mutate its genes. The genes include things like speed, size, and color. There are also different organisms in the simulation. There's herbivores that only eat plant life, scavengers who only eat dead bodies, and predators who eat all other organisms. It's by far the most fun to watch out of my simulations, especially if you have the mutation rate up very high. In addition to the organisms, the plant life also can evolve to change color and size. Next up is a simpler approach to the same simulation. This time, there are only blue cells and red cells. Blue cells must stay alive long enough to multiply, and the red cells must eat the blue to have offspring. In this simulation, the blue cells almost always win and multiply so much that the game crashes. I didn't spend a lot of time on this one, and most of the code was copy-pasted from the previous simulation. The next one is a whole different beast, so different that even I myself don't fully understand the way it truly works. Partly because visually it's so hard to determine what's going on. This was a simulation I created on my own and is a bit more advanced than the others. You see, the life in this world is energy based, meaning they choose when to reproduce based on how much energy is available to them. And that energy is replenished by eating plant life. For this one, I wanted to simulate a prehistoric ocean where life survived by floating in dense waters of particles. Each organism is color-coded to show their most dominant trait. The traits this time around are based around repulsion and attraction principles to simulate flocking behaviors, though I never actually saw flocking behavior fully evolve in this simulation. Organisms have a chance to be attracted to other like-minded organisms or attracted to floating particles nearby, or simply repelled from all others. To the viewer, however, none of this is conveyed, and it instead looks like a bunch of balls moving around. Next, I attempted to create a tile-based life form that moves along a grid, and that proved to be a bit harder than I imagined. These creatures had energy levels like the one before it, and if their levels were too low, they could choose to sit still and wait for energy to refill. What I found was that most would die running around and a few would stay still. And once they were still, they would choose to simply never move again. Those were the smart ones. I mean, why would you move when you could survive forever by resting? My latest simulation before my current project was called The Pond, the first simulation I've made with an actual name. In this one, I wanted to explore how animals would evolve in an ecosystem. We have goats, horses, turtles, and a wolf which serves as a predator, and all these creatures are centered around a drinking hole which they all share. I would say this is my most advanced simulation I've created so far, with the exception of my current project. Instead of energy, these animals survive off of food and water, and if they don't drink or eat, they will die. They know how to spot food and water, so they have no problem finding it. What makes this more advanced, in my opinion, is the mechanisms behind reproduction. I wanted to simulate partners breeding instead of just bacteria multiplying itself. The males have a rut period where they seek out females, and when they find one, the female will actually decide for herself if she wants to mate with the male by checking his desire rating. This is like why deer grow large antlers and male peacocks have grand displays of colored feathers. Once the female accepts the male, and this is all done very fast in the program, they will mate and the two will share their genes, meaning the offspring has a mix of the father and the mother's DNA. The simulation is nowhere near perfect. In fact, some curious problems occur that I never fixed. When I introduced predators, I noticed large groups of goats flocking together, and I assumed they had evolved to have herding behavior. But what was actually happening was the females were in the center of the herd, and they were pinned in and surrounded by male suitors. So basically, there was a rather large, non-consensual mating circle occurring. This same problem would also happen near the pond or the walls of trees because the females would be pinned against the collision. A simple fix for this would be to have pregnancy periods where males would not go near that female instead of the offspring appearing instantly. This could also branch off into other behaviors. I could create an instinct in the male to protect the female it mated with against other males. I would like to go back and work on this one day. I'm sure I will in the future. That's all I've got for now. I hope you guys enjoyed that little look into the simulations. Thanks for watching, and if this is your first time viewing, hit that subscribe button. You won't regret it. My next devlog will be coming out shortly, so stay tuned for that. Thank you.